What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down something with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amounts of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20. Deposit $2,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 40. The offer ends very soon in just about 12 hours. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So, in my video from yesterday, I was talking about how we saw some pretty poor earnings, or at least a poor reaction after earnings came out. And that led to a big sell off in the markets. I also mentioned that would likely continue into the next day, which would be today. And then in my morning video, I mentioned that the market may try to pop a bit before we saw another attempts to dump. And this is what the pop looked like. It was just this little push right here. You guys could see SPY went from 575 all the way up to the 577 area. So it pushed about 2 points and just to get the dump. So I mentioned that we would dump to about 575. I was expecting that. I said if that failed us, we're looking for a bigger dip because that's the support that was holding us up. And by losing that, turns things a lot more bearish. So yes, the market's continuing to fall. We're very bearish still. We're watching this 570 area to see if it holds or not. If it does not hold, we could get very close to 568. Just keep that in mind. Now, whether or not we get a bigger dump, because this could just be the start of a much larger corrective phase, or it may not be that. It all depends on different factors. But just know that whether or not that's going to happen depends on two things. Number one, tomorrow before market open, we have unemployment numbers coming out. This could cause the market to dump even harder, or it could cause a bounce in the market. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then for earnings, we have Amazon and Apple announcing earnings after market close today. So that's going to be another big factor. So earnings and unemployment numbers will determine if we're going to continue this dump tomorrow or if this gets a bounce. That's going to be very, very key. So just keep that in mind, guys. As of right now, okay, SPY is 570 as support. If that fails us, we're looking for 568 as our next potential target. I think that we're just barely holding up, so give this the time it needs, but we still look quite bearish. And there is still a risk of us losing 570, in my personal opinion. We'll just have to give this more time nonetheless. As far as ES goes, we got this big rejection. So we had a range and we had a tendency of getting bought back up around the 5,800 area. This time we lost it. So our support is at 5,750, which if we were to fail there, we're looking for an even bigger dip all the way down towards 57.25. We have 57.80 is our resistance, but this still looks a little bit more bearish. For Nvda, we're looking more bearish. We're looking for basically 132.5 as our main support. If that were to fail us, we're looking for 131, followed by 128 as our main supports. We have resistance around 135, but this looks a little bit more bearish for 132.5, so give this the time it needs as it looks more bearish. For Bitcoin, we're looking a little bit more bearish as well. We're just rejecting here. We have resistance around 70,800, not to mention 71,500. Our main support is all the way down here around 70,250. This is where we happen to have this next imbalance. So Bitcoin looks more bearish for now. We could be dipping all the way down to much lower levels, so give this even more time to develop. For Tesla, we were talking about this support over here yesterday at this 255 area. I said if we lost 255, Tesla's going to be dumping to at least 253, then 250. If we held 255, we would try to bounce. We lost 255, so this was what our target would have been. And notice that now we're seeing buyers trying to defend 250. So tomorrow's data will determine if Tesla loses 250 and starts dipping to 248 and then 245, or if we try to hold it for now and try to get back up to 253. It's possible we rebound a bit as buyers are defending 250, but then we might see a lot of sideways price action in the low 250s, so just keep that in mind. NQ remains bearish, looking for 20,000 as our supports. We'll see if that holds or not. If it does not hold, we're looking for 19,800 as our next target, and then 20,200 is resistance. So we'll watch 20,000 to be tested. We'll see if we bounce or not. The QQQ is barely around this 485 area. If it does not hold, we're looking for 483 as our next target, followed by even lower levels like 482. So we look more bearish right now as we approach these supports. Just keep that in mind. We need to reclaim 488s to turn back up. Otherwise, the QQQ remains more bearish. Apple failed to hold above 230, so now the chart's favoring downside. We're looking at 227 as our target, followed by 226. So we'll just have to see how things end up going from here. For the the IWM Russell 2000 came all the way down to 218. I mentioned to everyone if we lost 220, we're looking for 218 as our target. Came very close to that. We're trying to rebound back up to 220. We'll see if we reject off 220 or not, though. So look for a little bit of a push on the IWM before we see a potential rejection. So keep that in mind. Coin is down 10%, is trying to base at 192 to 190. We'll see if 190 holds us. Otherwise, it's going to dip lower, but it's already down so much, so it might not dip much more from here. Amazon remains more bearish as it's sold off with Microsoft because of what they said about their cloud revenue and also because of other factors. So we're looking for 186 as the main support. If it does not hold, look for 184. So far, 186 is holding, so give it some time. Meta's looking more bearish. We're basically looking for 568 is our support. If that fails us, we're looking for basically 565. So watch and see if that holds as we have 570 as resistance. Microsoft looks more bearish. We're looking for 406 as the main support. I think I marked it right over here. The 406s, if they fail us, we're looking for basically 402 as the next target below that. And I still think there's a risk of it dipping lower. We've dropped so much already, so it's trying to base around 406, but it still looks bearish, so we could dip a little bit lower. And then last but not least, Google is just trading sideways between a 176 and a 174. Stuck within a range. It could dip lower, but I think that, we just have to give this more time to develop. So anyways, that's it for my video. The market remains bearish, but to get a much bigger drop, that's going to be determined by the earnings coming out later on today, and then also what happens with our unemployment numbers for tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But for now, we do remain more bearish. So I just want to give you guys a warning about that. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Until then, have a great day and peace out.